I use David Bolognese recipes, and that's from his nonna. I use a secret ingredient, and it's still authentic. Don't make nonna upset. It's an old recipe with modern techniques. Wait, guys, don't fight. What I'm going to do, I'm going to combine both recipes and make the ultimate Bolognese ever. I have been making my friend David Bolognese sauce, and it's fantastic. And then I went to Bologna, and wow, it's also amazing, but different. Both of them taste different. Even though the recipe is done pretty much the same way, there are a few little details that Marco added to the recipe that I like. And there are a few things that David did that I like. So I tried to combine the two recipes to make the ultimate Bolognese. And I think I nailed it. Ingredients for a large family batch. So you can eat some today and you can freeze some for tomorrow. Half kilo of pork. Pork is very important. It adds flavors and is nice and tender. Half kilo of beef. Marco taught me to use only beef because some people do not like veal. I love veal. So if you love veal, I would say 300 grams of beef, 200 grams of veal. But if you have people that come over and they don't like the idea of eating veal, only use beef. 100 grams of pancetta. This is the secret ingredient that Marco taught me. Pancetta. 1 brown onion chopped into pieces. Dave used red onion. Marco used brown onion, and I think the brown onion is a bit more delicate. 2 celery sticks chopped into pieces. 3 carrots chopped into pieces. Try and cut the onion, celery, and carrots into the same size. 1 bottle of Italian passata. 100 grams of tomato paste. 400 grams of peeled tomatoes, a small can. 1 standard glass of red wine. You can also use white wine if you want a more delicate sauce, but trust me, both Marco and David use red wine and it's bold. 1 mug of full cream milk, but this is optional. If you don't want to use milk, you don't have to use it. Extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper. First thing to do is to mince the pancetta. You can use a knife or the blender. So let's blend it. We want the pancetta to disappear in the sauce, but this adds incredible flavors to your bolognese. Let's get a large pot. We cook this sauce on a medium-low heat all the way, okay? It's gonna be cooked for a long time. First thing to cook is the pancetta, but what we do is we put a little bit of oil, about 2 tablespoons, and now we add the pancetta. Pancetta is used in many restaurants in Bologna, and it's also included in the original recipe of Bolognese sauce. Now what we have to do here is to make the pancetta sweat. We want the pancetta to release the oil from the fat, and then once it's done that, we can cook the soffritto. Now we add onion and celery, carrots. We're going to cook the soffritto for about 10 minutes. Now I like to put the lid on, so the steam helps to cook a soffritto better. What's important here is that we don't burn a soffritto. So every couple of minutes, go and check and stir. All right, let's stir a soffritto. See how the pancetta is releasing even more oil. Mincing the pancetta is very important because as you can see, it's already mixing up with the soffritto. Very powerful step. This is the secret ingredient, guys. Oh, can you smell this? I'm just happy to eat this soffritto. I'm just happy with that. I don't need anything else. Now it's been 7 minutes and our carrots are soft. We're gonna cook it about 2 more minutes before we add the meat. So let's put a splash of red wine. Mix it. And the wine will help to tenderize the soffritto and get everything ready for the meat to join. Close it and see you in 2 minutes. It's been 10 minutes since we added the vegetable, the soffritto. The onions are cooked and the carrots are nice and soft. Now it's time for the meat. Let's add a little touch of extra virgin olive oil in the middle. And now we cook the meat. Beef and pork. Now while it cooks, break it. We don't need to cook the meat too much. We just need to change the color to gray because the meat will slow cook in the tomato sauce for a long time. Let's mix it with everything. Now, can you see that we still have some raw meat? We basically want the meat to become kind of gray, okay? Now that the meat became nice and gray in color, we add the rest of the wine. Put the wine now. What the wine is doing, the wine is adding beautiful flavors. The wine adds flavors, but the alcohol will evaporate. So even if you don't drink wine, don't worry about it. Now what we do is we mix and we wait for the wine to evaporate, which is gonna take about 10 minutes, I would say. Please don't put the wine in the tomato sauce, please. The wine goes in the meat. Once the alcohol evaporates and the wine and meat made love together, you add the tomatoes. This is the moment where we start putting salt and pepper. So let's put a generous amount of salt and as much pepper as you like. Can you see the liquid that we have here from the meat? Well, this is full of flavors. Let's work with that. Let's make sure that this gives the beautiful flavors to our sauce, okay? It's been about 10 minutes that we cooked the meat. And as you can see, the meat is beautiful. We add the tomato paste. Now the liquid will help the tomato paste to kind of revive and add extra flavors to the meat. Make sure you spread the tomato paste everywhere. Can you see how the tomato paste is already absorbing all the beautiful liquid? Can you see? Look how much absorbed already, look at that. This is the other liquid we're gonna use, okay? So, tomato passata. The final ingredient is the peeled tomatoes we're going to add. The peeled tomatoes are going to all the sauce. Now, from now, we're going to cook this sauce for about 4 hours and stir every half an hour. Very important detail. There are two cooking styles of Bolognese. One with the lid, one without. When the lid is not on, the water will kind of evaporate, so you need to add more liquids. But the technique that we use today is covering the sauce with the lid. So we keep the liquid inside, we keep it moist inside, we keep the flavors inside. Both techniques are very good. But the one without the lid, you need to add more liquid. This one with the lid needs less liquid. And I believe will make a richer sauce. All right, it's been 1 hour. Let's see how the sauce looks. Beautiful. Oh, look at that. You can start squashing the peeled tomatoes at the moment. Can you see how wet the sauce is? That's because of the lid. We keep the lid on for another 2 hours. And the last hour, we do it without the lid. We have 3 more hours to go. The next 2 hours with the lid on, and we stir every 30 minutes. And the last hour, we remove the lid because that's when we want to make a sauce thicker. The sauce has been cooking with the lid on for about 3 hours. So it's now time to take the lid off. Look at that. Now, stir very well. Look how rich this sauce is. Look how rich. Try and squash that peeled tomato, okay? Try and squash it. And look at that. The sauce is nice and wet. We didn't have to add any liquids, any water to this bolognese. And this is a very important technique used by my friend Marco, which I completely agree with him. I love this. At this point, what we're going to do, we put a nice amount of salt, as much as you like. Put some pepper, as much as you like. Now take off the lid, no more lid. And we're gonna cook this sauce for an extra hour. Final hour, the most important one. Go and stir it as much as you can. We want to make sure the meat doesn't get stuck to the bottom, because if it does, then it's gonna burn. We don't want that, okay? What I recommend you is, if it dries up for any reason earlier than 1 hour, okay, switch off the stove. If you think that your stove is too high, put it down. This should be low, very low. For the last hour, very, very low. We don't want to burn the meat. But as you can see, I've got this surface of water up here, but that means that it's drying up at the bottom. So we always want the water to move around the pot. Ooh, this beautiful smell. It's been 4 hours in total. This sauce has been cooking for 1 hour now without the lid. As you can see, It's not wet anymore. And look at that, look how beautiful. What I'm amazed about is that we didn't use any water or any broth or anything. The sauce didn't need any water. So we are gonna have maximum flavors in the sauce. Now, when you look at the sauce, you can say, do I need the milk or not? We're going to taste a little bit of sauce. We need to see if we need more salt. We need to see if it needs the milk. It's beautiful. It just needs more salt. You put as much salt as you want. I've got some full cream milk here, okay? It's not necessary, but I believe a little touch, a little splash of milk, just like that, will make a sauce more delicate. Look what the milk is doing. By adding the milk in there, you're changing the color. The milk boosts the flavors, okay, in this. It really combines, it really brings everyone together, okay? And look at that. You know what? I can put another splash of full cream milk. Look how beautiful, look how much the color is changing already. Now we want to cook the milk for about 5 minutes, and you don't need to stir. It's been 5 minutes, I switched off the stove, and look at the sauce. Look how wonderful, rich. This is comfort food that is best. This is very pretty. Oh, look at that, look at that. What I love about this recipe, which I believe is the ultimate Bolognese recipe, we didn't use any liquid, no water, no broth, only a little touch of milk at the end. And this is the result. This sauce reminds me of my time in Bologna, when I was searching for the best Bolognese. And this, seriously, is one of the best Bolognese I've ever eaten in my life. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to take the sauce that we need for today. So I'm making pasta for me and my wife today. I'm gonna use about 2 scoops per person, okay? So it's me and my wife, and that should be very nice and generous. What am I going to do with this leftover sauce? Plastic containers. Get plastic containers, and we fill them up. We fill them up, and we put them in the freezer. And then you take it out whenever you need. So what I would suggest you to do portions. If it's just for the 2 of you, like you do again, do 2 scoops per person. Or you can, if it's for a family size, you put everything together. Very, very easy task. Here is my deep freezer. I've got my gnocchi, got my meatballs here, got my meat, my lasagna, and we put this sauce right there. There is only one way to clean the pot. Get some bread and clean it. Oh, and make sure you get your kids involved. Look at that. This takes me back to my childhood. I love this so much. I love it. All right, let's cook some pasta. The pasta we chose today is a tagliatelle. We're gonna make tagliatelle alla bolognese. You can use pappardelle, fettuccine, penne or rigatoni, so the sauce goes inside the pasta. That's pretty nice too. I've already added a tablespoon of sea salt in the water. Now we're going to cook the pasta. We'll give a quick stir. And now it boils for 2 minutes. This is the sauce we made today. So I'm warming this up in a pan. And now I'm ready to put the pasta in. If this was a frozen one, you want to defrost it, put it in the pan, and maybe add a drop of pasta water to revive it. The pasta is ready. Let's put it straight in the sauce. Oh yeah, beautiful, silky tagliatelle. I don't really want to add any liquid to the sauce, but let's get some pasta water, just in case we need it. I want to use a wooden spoon to mix this up. Okay, I want to show you something, okay? I'm going to toss it now. Well, as you can see, the sauce is very, very thick, and a little bit of pasta water is not going to hurt. Touch of pasta water, because I want to be able to toss this pasta. And now we go. Yeah. Look at the details. The pasta is silky. It's absorbing the sauce, but at the same time, look how the meat it stays on the pasta. See, that's what you want. Spaghetti cannot give you this. The tagliatelle, fettuccine, pappardelle, they can give you this. So whenever you have a forchettata of pasta, look how much sauce and meat you get. Look, this is how you have an amazing Bolognese sauce experience. I wonder why this sauce is one of the most popular, if not the most popular, pasta sauce on the planet. I cook this, and there's nothing better than eating the pasta straight from the pan. So let's have a taste. Look at that. I've got enough meat, nice silky pasta. Ready? Delicate, smooth, silky. The sauce is pleasant, so yummy, so good to eat. I think the milk played a very important role here as well, because it really smoothed the sauce. No! It's missing a very important ingredient, the Parmigiano Reggiano! Let's serve this beautiful pasta. Oh, look how much sauce. It's full of sauce. Make sure you keep some sauce on the side to put right on top. Did you enjoy this recipe? Please let me know. Are you gonna try? Are you gonna make it? Is this Bolognese that takes you all the way back to Bologna? Please let me know in the comment below. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I will see you on the next Vincenzo's Plate video recipe. E ora si mangia! Pane and Bolognese sauce.